I'm Dr. Rajpal, and in this video, I'm going to share with you a close critical reading of William Wordsworth's poem, Daffodils. See, Wordsworth is one of the prominent poets of English Romantic age, and Daffodils is perhaps one of his most famous poems. It is being prescribed in various standards across the globe. So let's start with the vocabulary portion of it. That would be crucial for the non-native speakers of English, and it would help you to enter the poem through the keywords which are available in this dictionary, in this vocabulary portion of it. Wonder, to think about something and try to decide what is true, what will happen, what you should do, etc. Float, to move slowly on water or in air. Drift is the synonym for it. Vale, that is for a valley, a wooded vale, beside, next to, or at the side of something, somebody. Flutter, flutter means to lightly and quickly, to move something, move in this way. Breeze is a light wind. Twinkle, to shine with a light that keeps changing from bright to pale to bright again. Stretch, to make something longer, wider, or looser. For example, by pulling it to become longer, etc. in this way. The next slide. Let me start it in the slideshow so that you get a better view of it from the beginning. And here we move. Margin, the empty space at the side of a written or printed page. Gay, happy and full of fun. Glance, to look quickly at somebody, something. Toss, to throw something lightly or carelessly. Sprightly, full of life and energy. Sparkling, shining and flashing with light. Glee, happy. See, these are the key words which would help us to understand the theme of the poem. Gay, glance, sprightly, sparkling, bright, floating, wondering. These words, they don't come alone, they come with their images associated with it. Jocund is cheerful, he is in a jocund, jovial mood today. Wealth, a large amount of money, property, etc. that a person or a country owns. Couch, a long comfortable seat for two or more people to sit on, like a sofa. Pensive, thinking deeply about something, especially because you are sad or worried. Flash, a sudden bright light that shines for a moment and then disappear. Bliss, extreme happiness. Solitude, the state of being alone. Privacy, pleasure, a state of feeling of being happy or satisfied. Enjoyment. These are the major points of the poem, and after this we will go word by word. The poem is written in first person point of view. The poet is in solitude as he is deemed as a solitary seeker. It is about Wordsworth that he is a solitary seeker. It is written and based on poet's recollection of daffodil flowers beside a lake. He compares the daffodils with shining stars of a Milky Way. The poet describes the bounty beauty of the daffodils through a comparative mode. He compares daffodils with shiny water waves of the lake. He says that the waves too were dancing. However, the beauty of the waves was outnumbered by the happiness of the daffodil flowers. Whenever the poet lies on his sofa, whether in empty or in reflective mood, the image of the daffodil flowers flashes upon his inward eye that is his shore. Now, the poem word by word. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in breeze. So see, this poem starts with the description of the scene in which the poet is alone and he's wandering. And I mentioned it in the major points of this poem that this is a poem written in first person point of view. This word I indicates the same. I wandered lonely as a cloud. So the poet is wandering all alone like a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills. As a cloud floats, it moves in air over hills and valleys. The poet is feeling like a flying cloud that flies over hills and valleys. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. You see, the word crowd is basically for large gathering of people. So he's in a way just trying to personify daffodils, though there is no direct personification in it, but it seems so. And when he is flying over hills and valleys, he sees a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. All of a sudden, his eye is caught by that beautiful sight of daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So what the daffodils are doing? What's the location of the daffodils? The daffodils are beside the lake, and they are under a grove of trees. And what they're doing? They are moving, they are dancing in the air. So it's a very pictorial scene where nature is in full swing, in its mood, in its bounteous beauty. The daffodils are not static, they are moving, they are dancing. The word dancing gives some sort of celebration in nature, and that is what Wordsworth is known for. He celebrates his company while being in nature. He celebrates this fact. Next, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stressed in ever-ending line, never-ending line. Along the margin of the bay, 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. So that dance in the first stanza of the poem is converted into a sprightly dance, a dance that is full of life. So continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. Here, in order to describe the beauty of the daffodils, the poet compares them with the stars of a Milky Way. And they are continuous, they are stressed, they are separated in a never-ending line. This is immortality that he gives to the flowers of daffodils that is in a way symbolic of nature. Daffodil flowers, they symbolize nature for him. They stressed in never-ending line along the margins of the bay. So along the margins of the bay, the flowers are standing, and let me mention here that poetry is not meant to be paraphrased, and paraphrase may take place in the same language as well. So just I'm trying to just not even interpretation, but just I'm explaining it, because interpretation is also a big word in itself. Along the margins of the bay, 10,000 saw I at a glance. Wordsworth seems very meticulous here as he tries to quantify the number of the daffodil flowers, and he says 10,000 saw I at a glance. So one cannot calculate the number of daffodils or number of any flowers at one glance, but in order to show his confidence, and that comes from certainly from his inner happiness, he's mesmerized by the large number of the daffodils beside the bay of beside the margins of the bay, and that's why he quantifies and says that 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their head in sprightly dance. And they were throwing their heads away, their heads upwards, as if they were just trying to dance in a very joyous, lively manner. The next stanza. The waves beside them danced, but out did the sparkling waves in glee. So the waves of the lake, they were also dancing. But certainly the beauty of daffodils was, that outnumbers the beauty of the waves, simply because particularly because of their level of happiness. Daffodil flowers are happier than the waves of the lake. A poet could not but be gay. So in such a beautiful natural scenery, what a poet can be, he can be happy. He cannot be anything else. A poet could not be but gay. The poet could not be anything else, but he could be happy. In such a jocund company, in this pleasant company, he becomes very delighted. He becomes delighted. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. So the poet keeps staring at this scene, and he's mesmerized, and he thinks that how much wealth this scene has brought to him. And what's the wealth? That is in the next stanza. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood. So whenever the poet lies on his sofa or a small bed, whether he is in empty mood, whether he is having no ideas, or he is in a reflective mode, whether he is in a reflective mood or on reflective mode, reflecting, recollecting, philosophical mood, whatever the mood is, whether it's a philosophical, reflective mood, or it's an empty mood, they flash upon the inward eye. The images, the memories associated with daffodils, they reflect upon poet's inward eye. That is his soul. So Wordsworth, while defining poetry, he says, feelings recollected in tranquility. So that recollection of memories, that recollection of daffodil flowers in his tranquil mind is coming to the conscious part of his mind, and he is very delighted. And while writing, in preface to lyrical ballads, Wordsworth and Coleridge, they define that what's the function of a poet. So apart from so many functions, other functions, one of the functions of a poet is that while writing, at the time of composing a poem, the recollected images, the recollection associated with an object thrills a poet. And in order, one of the chief purposes of a poet is to share this pleasure with the readers. So the poet is delighted at the time of composition of this poem, and he is just sharing this with his readers. They flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. So shoal is the bliss of solitude. It's delightful. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So what impact it brings on the poet, all these images, all these memories which are associated with that site in which the daffodil flowers are standing beside a lake, under trees, they're dancing sprightly, lively, they're dancing. All this scene comes to his mind. The poet feels blessed. The poet feels that it has brought him great wealth, and it flashes upon his inward eye, that is his soul. And this is the solitude. This is the solitude's greatest gift. And then my heart with pleasure fills. It overwhelms poet's heart with pleasure and dances with the daffodils. And then poet's heart starts dancing with the daffodils. So it is the dancing daffodils making Wordsworth to dance with them. And at the same time, this dance is transferred to the readers. When they read this poem, they are also delighted. So sharing the delight, sharing his own delight with the readers through this beautiful poem, Wordsworth puts across his message of naturalism, that he is too much. All his poems are full of or brimful with scenes of nature, whether it's daffodils or nutting, or the world is too much with us, or Trinton Abbey, and number of poems, all are focused on natural scenes. And this is also a nature poem where Wordsworth seems to communicate to us the idea that nature is the abode of God. That's all from my side. If you have questions, kindly do write them in the comment box so that I can revert you. I can, and if you have any questions, you can also write them in the description in the comment box. I would be responding to your comments. Thank you for watching this video. And in order to see more videos on literature, poetry, drama, fiction, communication skills, book analysis, the Hindu newspaper, and vocabulary building, all these exercises you can, if you are not subscribed to this channel, kindly do subscribe it and press the icon bell so that you may be benefited from the videos to be uploaded on this online platform of TEC, that is to transform and empower through communication. Thank you.